Hey everybody, Terry Bradley here again, simpleswingthoughts.com. This is the follow-up video to week 7, Swing in the Spring 2015 on the downswing. I know some of you were confused, some of you weren't, but after I looked at the video, I realized that I could have been simpler in explaining the stacked and the open form. So I'm going to do this sort of in its entirety. I'm going to let this video run and sort of get to the nuts and bolts of what this really is, okay? So sit back, relax for the next 3 or 4 minutes, and you get this down, and we'll all be understanding golf like 100 times better in terms of our golf swing and our impact and our ball striking. Okay, let's take a listen. This is the follow-up video, the downswing video I did in the week 7, which was last week. Now, some of you were confused, some of you weren't, but after I looked at the video, I realized that I could have been a little simpler in my explanation. So I'm going to take the next minute or two to really talk about exactly what happens to the forearms when you come to the downswing. Okay? Now, you've all heard me talk about the leveraged rotation grip. Okay? A lot of you are gripping under the club and having great results. Okay? What you're doing is you're coming under the club, you're gripping underneath here, okay? You're turning your wrist, and you're hitting through the ball. Now, there's a reason why I haven't talked about the driver yet. Okay? And the reason is because you need to get the fact of muscle memory into the bowed or into the stacked form. You've got to get this into muscle memory first before we can go to longer clubs. Okay? That's the reason why we start out with wedges and short irons, because we need to build that muscle memory. But as you grab the club, a lot of you know this who've been with me, you grab underneath the club. See how when I grab underneath the club, you see how my forearm bones are kind of stacked? Now, what I mean by stacked is you got 2 bones in here. Okay, now if you were to take a hammer and hammer a nail into a board, okay, you would want these 2 bones to be on top of each other. Okay, you wouldn't take that hammer, open your forearm, and try to hit with what we call an open forearm. Okay, you want those bones stacked on top of each other. Okay, so when we're hitting into a golf ball, when we're coming into that impact, we want these bones to be stacked going this way. Okay, we don't want to have these bones open going this way, because there's more leverage coming this way than it is coming this way as far as open. Okay, so when you're grabbing a club underneath, there's a big difference between that being stacked, okay, and that being open. Okay, stacked, open, stacked, open. See, we're taught to just grab on top of the club. And if we did that, we would have an open forearm. Okay, you grab underneath, like all the tour pros do, all the scratch golfers out there. They grab a little bit underneath, and what does that do? Again, it stacks that forearm for power. Okay, now, when we take a short iron, like this is a lob wedge, okay, the amount of wrist turn that we're going to have on our grip is going to be determined of how much natural offset we have on our clubs. And of course, we have more natural offset on a lob wedge than we do a driver. Okay, so the reason why we turn our wrist on short irons and wedges is because there's more offset. So when you come down here and grab underneath the club, okay, and turn our wrist, now when you turn your wrist, it doesn't unlock the stack, okay, because you don't reposition your hands on the club. Okay, when I grab underneath, I'm done. I'm stuck. My wrists are there. I'm going to turn my wrist. I'm not going to reposition my hands. So when I grab under here, I'm locked. So just because I turn my wrist, when I set the club down and lean my shaft forward, that re-engages my bones to be stacked as I come through the ball. Okay, so don't be confused that, okay, Terry, I'm grabbing under the club, but it looks like when I turn my wrist, my forearm becomes open again. It doesn't, because again, you turn your wrist, you tilt the shaft forward, and then that re-engages the 2 bones of being stacked. Okay? Now, real quick, on the driver, a lot of you have asked, Terry, do I turn my wrist as much? Do I lean the shaft forward on my driver? The answer to that is no and no, because again, there's no natural offset. Okay? So the only thing we want to do on a driver, because there's no offset, we just want to set our forearm to be bowed. Oh, I'm sorry, to be stacked. Bowed and stacked are the same thing. I just kind of intertwine them, but I don't want to confuse you. So as you come underneath the club, you want to set your forearm to be stacked. Okay, again, that's stacked, that's open. Stacked, open. And if there's any club in the bag that you want your forearm to be stacked, it's the driver. You want to come through as much leverage as you can with all your weight moving forward and behind the ball. Okay? So again, you don't turn your wrist on the driver. You just set your forearm. We saw Tiger Woods do it. We just set our forearm, okay, like this. And all I'm concentrating on is this forearm ready for impact. Okay, so I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please comment at the bottom of this video. Share this video with your friends. Share it with your golf buddies, because this is indeed the secret, if there's a secret to golf, in hitting consistent, repeatable golf swings. Okay? Terry Bradley, simpleswingthoughts.com. Tee them up, hit them straight. I'll talk to you soon.
So guys, there you have it. There's the follow-up video to the downswing in week number 7, swing into spring 2015. Now, remember, when you turn your wrist, and I was thinking about this, when you turn your wrist, when you grab under the club and you keep that grip steady, even when you turn your wrist, you don't necessarily disengage that right forearm. I might have misspoke on that. Once you grab under the club and you keep that grip underneath, even when you turn your wrist for the short irons and the wedges, you still have that right forearm engaged. Okay, and then when you put the club down and lean the shaft forward, then that just basically just reinforces everything that you've done on the on grabbing underneath the leverage grip. Okay. Again, I hope this helps. Again, comments at the bottom. We need to get this right. We need to get this right. We've only got 11 weeks left until spring, and I want everybody going to the golf range in the spring hitting solid shots right away. Okay? Talk to you soon.